Their fathers sold their land. Blinded by the easy money which promised them a golden future in the city, they lost not only their fertile lands and their wealth, but also their identity and their self-esteem. They were victimized by their own ignorance of monetary value, as well as the cleverness of the agro-experts, who purchased their land for much less than it was worth. The land was transformed into monocultures, mostly sugarcane. Now the sons are the laborers on the land their fathers once possessed. We are talking about the descendants of the black Africans, who were deported as slaves into the New World, as well as to Colombia, where they make up 30% of the population. As early as 1852, the Colombian government passed the Law of the Liberation, a law to free the slaves. However, most of them had to buy their freedom through many years of hard labor. With much struggle and hard work, they were able to claim the land and became the owners of the most fertile region of the Cauca Valley. Puerto Tejada, the harbor of the tiles, was founded by runaway slaves and developed after their liberation as a center of trade and relative prosperity.
Esta es mi tierra bonita, mi tierra preciosa, mi valle del Cauca. Esta es mi tierra bonita, mi tierra preciosa, mi valle del Cauca. Al centro Tuluá, Buga que es miel, al norte Cartago y Obando, Buenaventura en el mar, cerca Palmira, Florida, Amaime, el Cerrito, un pueblo andaluz, Pradera, junto a Candelaria, Ginebra, La Paila, El Dobio y Zarzal.
With the Green Revolution, during the 1950s and 60s, which transformed the land into monocultures, the situation of the farmers and the conditions of the town changed dramatically. The proceeds from the land sales were quickly spent, often on drinking and gambling. The wiser built a little house in the town or opened a small shop, like Olden Barona. Others found a job in the city, like Carlos the Indian. Hundreds of thousands were stranded in the slums of the big cities. No school, no job, no hope. Again, others joined violent groups who hold large parts of Colombia in fear by their acts of violence. For most of the farmers and their sons, there was little hope except for being a worker in the sugarcane plantations at the mercy of the country barons. The increasing mechanization of the sugarcane industry is destroying many jobs. The problem of unemployment in the black population is tightening. The youth in the slums form violent gangs which shift drugs, steal, rob, and even kill, like the Dandies, one of the approximately 15 youth gangs in the surroundings of Puerto Tejada. The black man has few possibilities here. He has no access to higher education. Therefore, he lives on the edge of a culture which is very different from his own. The black man has become a slave here in America. FUNDAEC was founded in 1973 by a group of professors of the University of Cali to counteract these sad developments. Dr. Correa, a founder member.
Well, we began with the conviction that the rural people and the poor people are not the masses of oppressed and deprived people. We believe in the potentialities of the people, that the people are like a mine, rich in jewels, and the process of education has to discover those jewels and polish them and make them for the use of the society. And was a very important attitude.
So from the very beginning, FUNDAEC took an approach of action reflection to everything that it did. And it chose different life processes of the people of the region, and with the people together, it started to learn about that process.
FUNDAEC could not and did not want to come up with ready-made solutions. Intense field research led to practical action. Experiences were evaluated carefully and led to improved action. At last, the long path of trial and error led to working concepts, for example, the solidarity projects. Edgar, in charge of credit at FUNDAEC, is welcomed by the farmers. He consults them and oversees their projects and helps them to make use of these new opportunities. For a long time, Gerson Meyer was not successful with his small farm. He had neither the means nor the knowledge to enable him to live off his land. In 1982, Gerson did his first course with FUNDAEC. He belongs to a solidarity group of 4 farmers who received a microcredit from FUNDAEC. Together, they are responsible for the repayment. With his first loan, Gerson bought a cow. From the sales of the milk, he was able to repay the loan. Now he has sold 8 cows and still has 4. He also breeds pigs. He sells most of them. Only on special occasions he may slaughter one for himself and his family. In other courses, Gerson learned about integrated agriculture. He grows different fruits and vegetables in combined cultivation, which he can sell in the market. Gerson loves his land. He is happy now. He can feed his family from his land. And there is still enough for the compulsory stereo and the salsa music. Some years ago, the husband of Fernanda passed away. Things looked bad for her family. She joined a solidarity group with FUNDAEC. From her first loan, she bought a cow. She sold the milk and bought a sewing machine. In other courses, she learned about fish farming. With practical help and further loans from FUNDAEC, today she has 4 fish ponds.
Me ha ido muy bien con FUNDAEC. He tenido varios préstamos. Primero fue vaca lechera, me fue muy bien.
While enriching the diet of the area, she makes enough money to send her daughter to university.
Intermedio pues de FUNDAEC.
Sophonius Banguero couldn't lose any land. His family was always poor. In 1978 he did a course with FUNDAEC and received a loan of 130,000 pesos. With 2 workers he began a small factory. He produces concrete pipes. He takes orders to install these in wells which he digs. The groundwater which collects is of relatively good quality. With this simple fountain technology introduced by FUNDAEC, he makes a good income and contributes to the supply of drinking water in the region. So far, FUNDAEC has given away approximately 1,300 loans from 25 to 1,700 US dollars, a total of 585,000 US dollars. With only this amount, FUNDAEC over the course of years has been able to substantially improve the lives of a lot of farmers. This money is not charity. The borrowers keep their dignity. They pay back the loan with appropriate interest. The money can be borrowed again. What happens now with the often perishable produce of their work? The agro-industrial centre trains the farmers to process their products. Fruit becomes juice and jam. Soya beans make various products. Milk and cocoa become chocolate. The centre provides machines for processing, packaging and labelling free of charge, and helps with marketing the products. The University for Rural Wellbeing is a further centre and the idea factory of FUNDAEC. It is situated close to Puerto Tejada. Not only agronomy and rural development, but also education and teacher training are taught here. Even here, FUNDAEC goes its own way.
For us, the purpose of education is a social purpose. The students since the beginning are encouraged to think about the community, about the possibility of service and transforming the whole community and in the end the whole society. That we are builders of a new society. And this purpose of education is what makes the students different when they graduate. They don't become the elites of society that are going to oppress or to be on top of the rest of the world, but they are going to be the servants of the others, the servants of the community.
This spirit is all pervading here. The students attend a seminar because they want to learn. While studying, the students put into practice what they are learning, either by serving in a development project or serving as a teacher, like Almeida. The philosophy of FUNDAEC considers knowledge as one. The different disciplines of science are considered as parts of a greater whole. Language, for example, is taught in the context of communication, which includes reading, writing, understanding, and expressing emotions. Knowledge belongs to all and not to a small elite who use this knowledge only in their own interest. Knowledge makes people independent. He who has knowledge can resolve his own problems and can help as an equal in the community. These fundamental philosophies lead to the obligation to give access to learning and science for everybody. FUNDAEC meets this challenge by its SAT program.
We realize that in the rural areas, many people don't have access to education. And one of the obstacles and difficulties is because they live isolated. They live far away from the cities or from the towns where they have high school or secondary education. So we design a system that will reach those isolated areas, that instead of bringing the students into the cities to receive education, we will train the tutors from their own communities, and they themselves will start the groups and teach others and start the process of learning and being educated.
Dubonnet has done the SAT tutor training with FUNDAEC. He now takes care of a group of 15 pupils in his village. The jeep needs more than 2 hours for the 20-mile journey from the provincial town of Trujillo to Dos Quebradas, which Dubonnet usually makes with his motorbike. The public elementary school here serves the SAT group as a classroom. However, the lessons could take place just as well in a private house, a hut, or even under a tree. In still remoter areas of the country, this is often necessary, because there are no suitable buildings available. The pupils are highly motivated. They are grateful to be able to do their studies in familiar surroundings. The materials created by FUNDAEC are used in teaching. The pupils work through these together with the tutor and by themselves. As well as providing the materials, FUNDAEC specifies the amount of time spent on lessons. The timetable itself is decided by the pupils and the tutor according to their circumstances. Successful graduation is recognized by the state and leads on to university.
O sea, lo que viene en los textos que está relacionado con lo que trabajamos en la zona donde vivimos.
The education comes to me and refers to my life and my work. It is concerned, for example, with agriculture and many of our daily problems. What we learn has to do with our life and our work and helps us to solve our problems. We feel quite comfortable and we like to learn in this group. If FUNDAEC didn't exist, we would probably have to go to the city to study. Getting to the city is financially impossible for most rural youth. Education in the city is not only expensive, but in the confused social and political situation of Colombia, often dangerous as well. That's why many parents do not want to put their daughters at this risk. This leads to an additional disadvantage for the girls. Through its integrated view of the sciences, the SAT program counteracts the process of migration to the city. Practical and social projects are an essential component of every SAT group. On the parental farm of the tutors, the pupils have established a chicken farm and a fish pond. Fish and eggs are sold and enrich the diet of the people in the region. These activities supply data for many fields of teaching. Economic viability, percent reckoning, biological and ecological connections are learned and skills attained which are helpful for survival in jungle surroundings. This SAT group is maintained by the city administration of Trujillo in cooperation with FUNDAEC. The mayor, Jairo Alberto Saldarriaga.
El programa de XAC en esta zona ha permitido que el campesino que está en
The campesinos living in remote regions are not able to visit the day school in the city. The SAT program gives them the chance to participate in secondary education. At the same time, it allows them to live and work in their area and stay with their families.
En la buena labor y en el buen desempeño de ellos en sus diferentes parcelas y en sus diferentes actividades diarias.
This cooperation with the city administration is not accidental, but has method.
In the SAT program, for example, we never thought that we were going to go that far. We started with a group of 20-25 students in one specific region, and we didn't dream that in 20 years all this program was going to be covering most of rural Colombia with 45,000 students, with 45 institutions that adopted the program, and with the government recognizing it as one of the main educational options for the rural students, for the rural youth.
These tutors come from different parts of the country and belong to different organizations which have adopted the SAT program. They take the university course for tutors, which FUNDAEC has recently offered as further education. At the same time, they earn their living by working as tutors. They are the guarantors for spreading the SAT system even over the borders of Colombia. They are the messengers of a new culture of learning for everybody, and inspired by one thought. We are the tutors of SAT, and we love to serve.